What's good? What's good, everybody? What's going on? It's Drew from Up Top. And this is the weekly prep call for Monday, May 8th through May 12th. May 8th through May 12th. So real quick, we're going to go over the economical events slash earnings and Fed speakers, and then briefly touch on the Fear and Greed Index. And then I'll be going into, my watches for the week. And then we passing it over to Rolo. Rolo will be going over his watches for the week. This week, we got a couple of significant earnings, not as many as last week. But Monday, let's see. Monday after close, we got PayPal. That's going to be a big one. Tuesday, the close, though, Airbnb. Wednesday, we got Roblox before open. Blackstone looks like it's Wednesday as well before open. First Citizens Bank is before open. Those may be big given the bank turmoil that we've been in recently. So definitely look out for those, especially the Blackstone. After close Wednesday, we got Walt Disney. We got TTD, the Trade Desk, Beyond Meat. We got Robinhood. Side note on Robinhood, their CEO and their CEO, Chief Financial Officer, this week just unloaded like over 1 million shares. $1 million worth of shares each. So that's something to look out for. Robinhood after close Wednesday. Thursday before opening, we got JD, Chinese stock. Close Thursday, nothing there. Friday, nothing there. I don't even know none of them tickers. Moving on. The economic calendar, we have CPI and PPI this week. CPI we have Wednesday, middle of the week, and it's before open. It's an hour before open, right? Wednesday should be a very volatile day. And what CPI is the consumer price index, right? So it just measures the change in the price of goods and services from the perspective of the consumer, right? So it's a key way how to measure changes in trends in inflation. If this comes back higher than expected, it means that inflation is still rising. It's not going to be good for the market. If it come back lower than expected, which hopefully it does, it means that inflation is falling, coming down. The market should take that as bullish news. And then Thursday, we have the PPI, which is the producer price index, the price of goods sold by manufacturers. And this is the leading indicator of CPI. So same as CPI, this comes back higher than expected, then it's not going to be good for the market. It means inflation is rising. If it comes back lower than expected, then the market should like that. We should see some good green days or some green action. Thursday, we got jobless claims. And then for Fed speakers, we got two on Tuesday, Jefferson and Williams. These are in Eastern time, so one is before open and one is midday. And then Waller speaking Thursday, 10:15 a.m. Eastern. And then Bauman speaking Friday at 3 a.m. I don't know why they're speaking at 3 a.m. Fear and Greed Index, we are at 59. Last week we was at 60, right? So we only came down 1 point, all right? So we're still in greed territory. We still can see upside, we still can see downside. Kind of trying to choose the direction right now. It did creep up this week. Actually, it was lower than this, and then it creeped back up because we had a very strong day on Friday. I believe we dipped into the neutral zone this week and there Friday with Apple earnings and the good job data, unemployment data. It really pushed the market up Friday. So let's see if tomorrow we get a continuation or we get a pullback or some profit taking. It's going to be very, very interesting. All right, so with that being said, I don't even have a lot of watching. I was looking through everything and nothing really caught my eye, but just a couple, like 2 or 3 stocks, right? So SPY, of course, always watching SPY. This is the daily on SPY. You can see a nice strong day on Friday, but I really like SPY. You can see on the hourly, very, very clear here, we broke trend on Friday, right? So I'll definitely be looking for a pullback. I have some key levels at 411.4 and then 410, right? So 410 would be ideal because it's the hourly 382 fib, and then that 410 resistance slash support, and then this resistance trend line retest too. So it'll be a nice influence bounce right there if we can come down to 410 area for a push back up into the 413s and then potentially 416. So for SPY right now, we'll not be playing it until we get some, some profit taken down into the 411, 410 area, or around the 414, 413 supply, the little mini supply zone we got here. So you can tell it's definitely just trying to pick what it wants to do. We had a very nice Friday, so let's see what Monday has in hold in store for SPY. Levels this week, I'm watching the SPY again is the 410 level and then 411.4. And then upside levels I'm looking for is this 410 slash 413 slash 414 area. Got a little supply zone right there. Let's check out SPY on the weekly. Now the weekly does look very good. You see we holding this long-term downtrend breakout here. We got nice tweezer bottoms here. This looks like it's a lot of bulls right here. And then, so remember, this 416, 417 level is supply. It's a nice supply zone. So bulls look like they're stepping in at the supply zone. So we can see a break above 416, 417. Then I think we're definitely going to come into the 420s. It could be this week with the CPI data, but we'll see. I think that's the only thing really CPI or PPI that'll push us up this week. That's some crazy news comes out, or if we get another bank failure or something. Bank's been in the hot seat lately. Spot's looking bullish right now. So as long as we maintain trend, we can catch some nice bounces and stuff on SPY. TXN, Texas Instruments. Right, so zooming out, TXN is on a nasty uptrend, right? March 2020, since the pandemic. We 1, 2, 3, 4, we got the fourth bounce here, right? So, and then not only are we holding that trend line on the daily, we also hold a nice support right here, horizontal support at this 161 level. We can see got 1, 2, 3 bounces here, and then we also got a nice, very nice, strong bullish engulfing with some volume here too, off of that 2 support confluence there. So a lot of confirmation to the upside here on TXN. I'm going to go down to the hourly, and then we can really map this out. So TXN in between this 161 to 165 range, it has ranged from before. So this is December 22. It ranged in the same zone. It bounced right between it, and then when it broke out, it went on a good little run. Yeah, you can see whenever it's in this little range right here, it's always bouncing pretty tight within that range. So, and then we also have a nice trend line down. And this is very similar to what SPY did on Friday, right? So if I can pull that up real quick. Let's pull up SPY on Friday. Had that same setup, right? So you can see the nice downtrend resistance, and then SPY actually broke out and ran. TXN doing the same thing. The nice downtrend resistance, 1, 2, 3 rejections, and we are testing resistance now again. So definitely watching TXN over 161.01. Right, that is on the daily. That's the high of the bullish engulfing candle, and this resistance area that's been ranging in. So a break above that, then I have targets. Let's go down to the hourly for the targets. I have targets of 167.48, 168.34, 169.94, and then it has this gap. It has this hourly gap from 172 to 173, about $1 gap here. I think it's definitely going to, if it could break out into resistance, it's definitely going to run up into this area, and that's where I would have my last target at. So I like these calls over 166.01, and I have a stop here of about 165.4. So about a 60 cent stop loss. It's a nice 11-point risk to reward here. And why I have my stop loss right there is because on lower time frames is where it's you see it's held support here, and it was resistance over here. And the last time that we broke from this level, so my Wi-Fi that's really slow. Forgive me for my Wi-Fi, man. Right, so yeah, over here you see once we broke this level, it pulled back to. So I can show you what the lower this is to 165.6, and then we got a nasty bounce from there, and then it ran up to that first target I had for it. So TXN again over 166.01. And then the first target I have is 167.48. About a dollar and some change, moves at 168.34, 169.94, and then I'm playing the gap. This gap, dollar gap from 172 to 173. I didn't find any news or anything on TXN, but Friday they had a very, very strong day. You see it move like $4 Friday, and it closed at that high. So, and then it has this confluence off of this 2 support here. So I definitely think that TXN, if it can break above this and hold, break above that 166 and hold, it'll go on a nice run. So yeah, I'm looking at the 167.5 contracts. Those look pretty good. And then Home Depot. So Home Depot, I got on a nice long trend here too. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 bounce of support here. They do have earnings the following week, not this week, but the following week on the 16th of May. Right, so we got the cool inside bullish Harambe pattern here. Right, so the entry here is going to be above 290.87, and then we'll just aim for this next high right here, which is 294.59. So it's about a $4 move. And Home Depot, when it gets going, it gets going. You can see these nice big candles. And it does have a gap up here at 308. I'm not aiming for that, but if this would be a swing, you could definitely probably take that up there. You see it's in a nice trend. It's making higher lows and holding support every time it comes down here. So Home Depot over 290.87. $298.87, and then we look for about a $4 move up to 294.59. This is the weekly. It's the weekly. You see bars at these support levels down here. And that's all I have so far for this week. I didn't see too much when I was looking through my watch list. So of course not. So I really want to see what we do tomorrow. If we're going to hold this upside, given that we had a very strong Friday on the data and everything. Main watch list is going to be right now is SPY, TXN, and then Home Depot. And I'll be posting these charts and levels in the watch list pro channel. I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing and swing it over to Rolo.
So first one that I'm looking at is run. This is my top watch of the week. Bottom of a broadening formation, right? Green 2 down. Kind of like a hammer on the daily. And I'm just now noticing this. It's a gap up here too. So I would love to see run. I'll take calls over 1783. And I'll probably target this gap between 1927 and 2005. Super simple. Really like this play here though. That's probably my favorite. Moderna is probably my second favorite. So Moderna got a 3-1 on the day. If it breaks over 138.18, I'm gonna take the 145 calls. That seems like a decent area of resistance up in here. Remember, I don't need the stock to reach that number exactly. I just need it to make its way there. Now, if it breaks below 132.14, you could take the 130 puts. 129.02 is the target, but there is a gap down here between 122.03 and 118.38. I don't know how far back that gap is from. Let's see. All right. So it's from last year. As you can see, closed down here, opened up and made a baby wick. Still the rest of that gap to fill. This is cool because it does have full time frame continuity green with a 3-1 daily setup. So I think this thing is about ready to pop up. It's not going to stay this low forever with this full time frame continuity green. Although anything can happen. All right, so pan W. So if I look at the weekly on pan W, green 2 down on the week. Calls over 185.24. And I'm going to target the gap between 188.61 and 190. 185.24 is an entry for calls. But I do got an alert set, so if it breaks down below last week's low of 176, it's still the remainder of that gap to fill down to 166. But this also has full time frame green. Similar to crowd, same setup, right? On a weekly time frame, crowd is a green 2 down, almost a hammer weekly. But this has a couple of gaps to go for. One between 123.97 and 126, so you could target 125, and then the other one up here between 128 and 130. I like both of these. They both got full time frame continuity, and as you can see on crowd, it's been sticking to this broadening formation like crisp. The high, the low. This is a higher high than that. It broke that high just barely. Lower low, as you can see, higher high again. And now lower low. And if we get real bullish, this thing has a possibility to come out and take out this 140 higher high. And it could do it quick too, man. Last time it had this setup, it went crazy. From 128 up to 140 in a few days. So Han or Honeywell, this is interesting, right? Because it's an inside day close to the top of a broadening formation. Now, I would take calls over the 189.59, and the target will be the 200, but that's like a $2 move. That's not a high risk to reward for me. I would like to see this break to the downside. Now, under 196, right, which is Friday's low, and the first target is 194.93. But this 194.93 is also the weekly put trigger. So this could be like a trigger machine gun, and also it has this gap to fill down to 190. So under 196, and I'll mess around and take these 190s, and I'll show you what I'm talking about on the weekly. So you got this 3 candle. It could be a 3-2-2 reversal if it breaks last week's low. That's a fire play. Trigger machine gun right there. MPC, oil stock. Inside day at the bottom of a broadening formation. Oil got ripped last week, man. Oil got ripped last week. But if this thing wants to reverse and come back up over 108, the first target is 110 and then 116 if it wants to go up. But under 106.68, first target is 104 and then 101. New. So new got an inside day also at the bottom of a broadening formation. High, low, higher, high, lower, low, higher, high, lower, low. Over 144.41. First target is 146 and then 150. But underneath 141, then there's an unfilled gap between 138 and 137. Full time frame continuity red too. Snow, Crocs, and Starbucks. All right, so snow is decent. Nothing crazy on snow. Under Friday's low. Under 153, it's a gap to fill between 148 and 144. But snow's contracts be kind of expensive, so I really don't like playing snow like that. Now, Crocs. Crocs is kind of fire. I ain't gonna lie, man. So with Crocs, it actually is at the bottom of a broadening formation too, with an inside day. So you got this low, a high, a lower low because it broke that, a higher high, and now another lower low because this broke this low by 7 cents. So if this thing wants to get moving, I'm here for it. Over 115.61 for calls. I would target the 120, and then the secondary price would be like that 121. And under 110 for puts, I would target the 104. And then there's a gap to fill between 96 and 94, but I don't think it'll make that move this week, but anything is possible again. Last one, and this is a simple play. I kind of missed the entry on Friday if I would have played this. So Starbucks, this is like super simple. It had this green 2 down. Actually, it was an inside candle on Thursday. Friday, it opened inside and made a move up, a decent move. It still hasn't hit that target price, right? A 109.72. But over 107.48, there's no resistance. Over 107.48, there's no resistance. And this is huge gap between 109.72 and 114. And if you break it down to the 15, 107.48, there's no resistance right here up until that 109.72 and then the gap fill. So if this thing wants to go, I think this will be a decent play right here, man. Nice, smooth. I'll probably take the 110s. Let's see how.
Above 107 what? Above 107.
748.
48. All right, so 107.50. 107.5 to 110.
Yeah, I want to see how much these 110s cost. Look at that, cheap. 20 cent, man. 20 cent right there. So this play is super simple, man.
And if it goes beyond that,
yeah, it could go crazy.
I like that.
It could definitely go crazy, bro.
So what, did you want that, did you originally wanted that 103 bottom? 104?
Nah, I wanted the entry would have been over this high of 105.67, and the target would have been 109. But
Got you.
yeah, I had, y'all know how Friday went. I didn't even trade for real on Friday.
But I like this one. I like this. That, especially that previous strength that we had.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, why not do that again?
Yeah, Starbucks is smooth, bro. Like this is probably the smoothest play out of all the plays I charted. It's not my favorite, but I do feel like this is the smoothest because
I like this
resistance.
PNW, Pan W, and Crowd. Yeah.
But I will say that Sun Run is my favorite setup going into this week though. But Crowd is definitely respectable. And it's something about weekly breaks of highs or lows. They seem to go harder than like daily breaks of highs and lows. I've been noticing that over like the last couple weeks, 3 weeks.
I mean, you know, there's bigger money in that though. There's bigger institutional money around those breaks, like that Apple break. How much that paid? I know hella much people made money on Apple Friday.
Yeah.
Off of those long-term breaks, the weekly long-term break, trend line break that we had.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
But the fact that this is full time frame continuity green too, I don't know why Kroger up here, man. Y'all know I hate Kroger. But like, I don't know. This is low for this to have this full time frame continuity green. And the last time it had that full time frame was this move off of that entry, man. On the 10th, like a month ago. And look at what it did in 3 days. And now I got these gaps as magnets. It's gonna be a good week. Right. But downside, I maybe MPC might be my only one to the downside. No, Honeywell too. But Run and Moderna are my favorite too. I'm gonna post all the charts up though. And that is all I got, man.